Morning, Tosca. How are you?
Good. How are you, Shauna?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. I was very excited to have a
Yeah, me too.
conversation. I've known you for quite a
Thank
long time, but I'm looking forward to going through the your history and all that kind of stuff. So, thank you.
Well, thank you for asking me. I think, like I've said to you before, I think the fact that you take the time to reach out to each of the members and give them an opportunity to share and feel extra special is really important. That's a wonderful thing to do as a Rotarian.
Oh, thanks for that. I appreciate that. So, why don't we start with where did you come from? Where did you start?
In life,
Yes, in life.
so I have a passion for my heritage, as you and many people know. So my dad was born and raised in Italy, and our family, the Marangonis, for many generations, are from the Lago di Garda area. So that's Lake Garda. And my mom's family is Scottish. They're the Galbraiths, and the Galbraiths are from Loch Lomond, famous lake in Scotland. So it's actually kind of ironic that both of my families are from famous lakes, one in Italy and one in Scotland.
And you live
I
by
was,
and you live by a famous lake.
and if I live, you know what, there you go. And I live by a lake. It's just in my blood. That's so funny. Yes. Um, So I was born and raised in Canada. On my dad's side, my cousins and I are all first generation. Um, and we were raised by immigrants. And on my mom's side, excuse me, they've been here for a couple generations. So I grew up in Edmonton and Kelowna, both cities. My mom lived in Edmonton, my dad in Kelowna. So I kind of grew up back and forth. So I consider both cities my home. I love them both very much. And Edmonton is a beautiful city with a lot of arts and culture. So there's a lot of things I love about that city, but I absolutely hate the climate there. It's really horrible, like 7 months of bitter cold and snow and darkness and bad roads. And yeah, so I eventually had enough of that. And I moved back to Kelowna 13 years ago. And I also love this city. It's smaller, though. It has a smaller arts and culture community. Um, but it's has so many other things. As we know, I don't need to talk about the beauty of the Okanagan. We all know why we're here. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about my background. Career wise, my
Do you have any siblings?
um my no, my parents are gone, no siblings. Um, I have a lot of extended family though. Yeah.
And did you go to post-secondary education in Edmonton or
I have a variety of education.
okay.
My first trade is in dance. So I started dance at the age of 3. I've been dancing
Wow.
for 47 years. I'm classically trained in ballet, jazz, and tap, and I developed a passion for cultural dance because of my mixed cultural background. And so I've trained like extensively in dance from around the world over the years. I mean, 47 years is a long time to be dancing. And I consider myself a dance ethnologist, so an expert in cultural dance. And I did own a dance studio in Edmonton many years ago, and I owned a dance studio in Kelowna. Now I teach dance for the Rotary Center of the Arts. And it's, as I said, Kelowna is a smaller city, and there's a smaller arts and culture community here. So there are less opportunities. When I lived in Edmonton, I danced more than full time. Like I was teaching, performing, choreographing. I had a very vibrant dance career. I didn't realize when I moved back here 13 years ago that it was actually going to affect my dance career so strongly. So it's really been hard to be a full-time dancer in Kelowna. It's had to be part-time, unfortunately. But that's led me to other things. Then I've had time to work um, on because I'm also an artist, a visual artist. So I've had more time to work on some things with visual art. And as far as, sorry, you asked about my education. I mean, a lot of my education and training is in dance. But I did actually start a psychology and anthropology degree in university, but I didn't finish it because I was too busy with dance. Um,
I could see you being interested in that field. You're so good with people and so curious with people.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, like if I won the lottery and didn't have to work, I would most definitely, aside from traveling, I would go back and I would finish that degree in anthropology actually, because that's really where my interest lies, is in culture and cultural dance and um, but everything related to culture, art from around the world, food, everything,
Did you say
music.
did you say you traveled with dance?
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, I've had some good opportunities with dance. And I've also done some training in dance therapy and art therapy.
Oh, wow.
And yep. And but then of course, as you know, I've had a pretty big career in the nonprofit sector too. So I've had done a lot of training in that area, training and education in the nonprofit sector. I don't know how much detail you want me to go in, and I don't want to ramble. So
That's okay.
um
I was going to ask you because you're an artist too. So is that painting behind you done by you?
that one is not actually, but
Oh,
I
okay.
do like this painting.
It is
This is
very
a
neat.
replica of a Klimt,
Mm.
and I do like Klimt. I have a few Klimts. Yeah. My dad was so, art is a very important part of Italian culture. My dad was a painter, so
Mm.
I grew up learning from him.
Yeah,
So I just have painted all my life, more at certain points and less at other points because it's something that's very time consuming.
it is.
You
And
know,
do you like oil or watercolor or what do you paint?
Oils and acrylics mostly. My dad always used oils, so I still love the smell of oils. They make me think of my dad. And I like acrylics. I'm actually not a fan of watercolor. I like charcoal. But yeah, it's time consuming. Like you can sit down at a canvas and 8 hours are gone. Boom,
Right.
like that. And you haven't had a drink of water or gone to the washroom or anything. It's just 8 hours are gone. So
My mom was an art teacher, so that I had that influence growing up. And I did take
amazing.
art through high school and junior high and stuff. And in university, I took an art class.
Oh, that's great.
And I remember I was kind of drawing there and stuff, and they go, "Okay, it's the day for nudes." I'm like, "Oh my God, nude!" So they brought a naked guy in there, and they put him up, and I was probably only 18 at the time, and he's
Wow, this sounds
posing,
like
and it was like, "Oh my goodness." Oh my goodness. And I'm drawing away and stuff. And my art teacher's like, "What are you doing?" Because I'm usually quite a detailed and I was being very impressionistic artist. Big
you're just trying to
scribbles.
get
I'm
it
like,
done.
I was so embarrassed. He was very attractive.
Oh my God. Wow,
I
that's
missed the female nudity. I was sick for some
uh,
reason.
that's
I quite
funny.
enjoyed my art, but as an 18-year-old young student, I was kind of like, "Oh, oh my, that's
You
cool."
weren't prepared for the nudes yet. Yeah.
It was just, it wasn't announced, it just kind of happened. And, but yeah, no, I loved doing the art too. I haven't really picked it up again. I know we've talked about doing an art class through like someday through our Rotary Club. So I think there was a guy that came that used to teach painting or something. So that might be a fun after hours thing of wine and paint.
That's actually an excellent idea. I will put that on my list. We should totally do that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Well, and you're just
Yeah.
so enthusiastic about it. It'd be great to kind of come on, try painting or drawing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for some people though to step out of their comfort zone into something like that. So, but it'll be interesting to see how many people we can get interested.
As long as there's no nudes on there.
Yeah, okay.
So yes, you've done a lot of training in the nonprofit. How long have you been in the nonprofit?
I've been in the nonprofit sector since 2010. But of course, when you work in the arts, you're already in the nonprofit sector. So really, I've spent
Or
my whole life in the nonprofit sector. You deal with a lot of the same
challenges?
challenges, etc. You know, dance companies tend to be societies, etc. So it's really been my whole life kind of had a passion for not only the arts but also the nonprofit sector. And then in 2010, I actually founded a nonprofit organization that helped women and families affected by postpartum depression and perinatal mood disorders. And I ran that organization for about 10 years. I did manage to grow it from grassroots to a national level. I got
Amazing.
a an awareness period going for postpartum depression because you know what, even like back in 2010 when I started this organization, there were no national organizations at all that addressed this issue. It was still an issue where if you brought it up, people either didn't know what it was or their understanding of it was completely wrong. So it
Yeah.
was highly misunderstood. And I think, as you know, important things like that, really what they need more than anything is awareness and education. It's
Yeah.
about it's about teaching people what these challenges are and why they're challenges and what kind of help people need, right? So I was pretty passionate about that. I worked really hard building that organization. I was awarded a Queen's Medal for for founding and growing that organization.
Very
And
cool.
yeah, and I
Thank,
think
thank you
that
for thank you for doing that because it really is an important thing. That's kind of a lot of women's issues are kind of like, don't look at me, don't talk to me. So thank you for leading the charge on that. That's fantastic. You made a
it's so
difference in
true.
a lot of women's lives for doing that.
It did. And you know, it's funny, the statistics around postpartum depression are not that different from the statistics, sorry, around any sort of mental health challenge, depression, anxiety, you know. Um, the stats show like, you know, 10, 15, maybe 20%, but the reality is it's like 50% of the human population uh, suffers with, deals with some type of mental health challenge. Like the statistics are huge, right?
Huge.
And we've come a long way in, at least in Western culture, but we still have so far to go.
I think loneliness is a big one. Is that a mental health loneliness?
It is.
That
And
makes
it is.
it makes me sad because even when I'm shopping, you can see, somebody that's lonely, and I try to, have a conversation with them or something. Maybe that's something our club should try to tackle is stop the loneliness in the city. Like it's really heartbreaking when people are feel shut in, and it shouldn't be like that.
I agree with you 100%. I think that that is an issue that, you know, we could maybe bring some attention to. And there are a lot of cures for loneliness. I mean, there are tons of great clubs and activities and things. Even with another position that I have with the Share Society, we're developing a social enterprise. This is actually one of the issues we're trying to tackle within the Share Society is we're looking at creating some instructional videos about repurposing that people can access from their homes so they feel like they're, you know, have things to look forward to, be involved in, be included in. But for some people, leaving their home is a real challenge for a
Real
variety of
challenge.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. But thank you for doing the Share Society too. That's amazing that you're doing that too. But your main full-time job is working with the kids.
Yes. So my main role these days is as executive director for the Central Okanagan Performing Arts Festival, which was previously known as the Kiwanis Festival. We have a new exciting sponsor, Rotary Clubs of the Central Okanagan, which I'm very proud of. And so my role as ED for this festival is a 20-hour a week position. And then I also teach dance for the Rotary Center of the Arts. That usually works out to about 10 hours a week or something like that. And then I took on this part-time position with the Share Society as director of business development, which is, yeah, it's about 15 hours a week. So those are kind of my three main roles. And then, as you know, I'm very heavily involved with my Rotary Club, our Rotary Club,
Mm.
which I'm very passionate about. It's the people in our club feel like family to me. It's and I don't have a lot of family, so it's a very warm, fuzzy thing. I look forward to coming to the lunches every week. Um, I'm on several committees, as you probably know. I'm co-chair with Ken for the speakers committee. I actually really enjoy booking speakers for our club because I know so many people and I'm
Yeah,
very
you sure
social.
do.
So
Yeah.
it's like, and between even like my partner George, between him and I, we're always like, oh, you thought about asking this person or that person, or so that's kind of fun. And then I am on the social committee. So Julie kind of looks after the bigger parties, and then I look after booking the Rotary After Five each month. And so I enjoy doing that too, because again, I'm very social. I like to go places. And so that's fun. And then I'm chair for the fundraising committee. That wasn't something I went looking for. It just kind of
Oh,
happened.
really? Oh, okay. I
Just
didn't know
kind of
that.
happened organically. But it's because I had an idea for a second annual fundraiser.
Mm,
And so in having conversations about that, we didn't actually even have a fundraising committee. So we had to build one. And so Justin asked me if I wanted to chair it. I said, sure. I mean, if there comes a time when I don't have time, I'm sure there'll be somebody else who'd be happy to step up and chair that committee. But what we're doing right now is we're trying to build a second annual fundraiser um, for the club. Of course, we're not taking the spotlight off the pro-am. That's our big, huge,
yeah.
amazing thing we do every year.
31
But that, so
years.
that's,
31 years, which is crazy.
yeah. And so that's in the spring. So we're going to try and organize something for the fall. So we're working on a kind of a blind wine tasting event. And yeah, and then I'm also on the Lady of the Lake committee, although not too much happens with that. And I have to be honest, I'm trying to find someone to take that over because I just don't have time. It's too many committees.
Yeah, you're doing way too much. My goodness. Because you're going to be president next year. You should try to give up some of that stuff because president's a lot of work and you're
Yeah.
active on
Yeah.
a
I mean,
board and stuff.
yeah, Bill told me specifically that when I my presidency starts at the beginning of July, he's like, you have to back off on the committees just a little bit because it's a lot. So
I
yeah,
think
we'll see what happens.
and you and I were talking briefly before, Bill was such an excellent president because he
He
got
was.
everybody involved. He got me on the board, he got me involved in things and like you said, just making everybody know that they're important. We need everybody kind of moving together. Like even the wonderful gal you brought yesterday, she says, I'm not sure how it fit in here. It's like, "Oh, we got roles for you. We got plans for you
Absolutely.
here for sure.
Absolutely, because we have so many committees, and it's. I mean, it's obvious to me that one of the best ways to have a really positive, well-functioning Rotary Club is to make sure that every single member is on a committee.
For sure.
Because there's
Absolutely.
so much work that needs to be done, and there's so much positivity in being on a committee. Not just the camaraderie and the fellowship, but also doing good, positive work.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's really my going to be my focus for my presidency years, making sure everybody's on a committee, involved in something that they love and enjoy, and that they feel they can bring something to, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I know you love being a mama.
Yes,
So talk
I
to me
did.
about being a mom.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of an empty nester now, but I did raise three kids who I'm very proud of. My oldest daughter will be 28 next month. She's married and she has a very good career. And then my second child, he just turned 18 in January. He's in grade 12. So I'm pretty proud of him. He's a great kid. He's a really I mean, he's never caused me any grief of any kind. He's a really good boy. But he's finding grade 12 hard, and I'm not going to lie, he's going through a bit of a depression,
Oh,
which a lot of
that's
teens
a that's
do.
a
And
tough that's a tough age. That's so tough.
I'm really worried about him, to be honest with you. He's trying to find his way in the world, and I'm trying to guide him, but it's like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
Doesn't you're a mom. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how much parenting you do. There are some situations, some things where you're like, God, I just don't know what to do. I have to
I'm
do
here.
something,
I'm
but what?
here. Yeah, I'm here for
Yeah,
you. Whatever you need, I'm here. But it's their own
yeah,
path. You got to just kind of follow them down it, right?
yeah. So I'm a little worried about him these days. I'm actually going to be having dinner with him this evening. So,
Oh, good.
yeah. And then my youngest daughter is 15, and she's in grade 10, and she too is finding her way.
Awesome. And does your oldest daughter live here in Kelowna?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. Her and her husband have a home in Kelowna. And then my two teens were always with me until up until a couple of years ago. We made a big family decision. And they live with their dad now. So that was a big change for all of us. And there's pros and cons, which I won't go into on video.
But they're all close, so that's nice.
Yeah, they're all close. Yeah.
And I know we were teasing you yesterday about just seeing what a great life you and George are leaving together. And I know you're like, oh no, I don't do it. It's like, but it's just awesome. Like you can just see the joy and the fun the two of you have. And if you're ever around Tosca and George, it's awesome. Like you just are just it's exciting to be around you. You just love life and you just everything like it's
Mhm.
like look at this cheese. It's just amazing. Like it's just I love your zest for life and it seems like you found the partner that has almost an equal zest for life. And so talk to me about George.
It's so true. You know, I mean, I was married for 20 years and my ex-husband's a good guy, but we were totally oil and water. So I married the wrong person the first time, which a lot of people make that mistake, unfortunately. But as we talked about, I do have three beautiful kids from that marriage. So it wasn't all bad. And then, I'm very fortunate to have met George 7 years ago. We've been together 7 years and we're very similar people. We do both have a huge passion and zest for life. We both are very, very social. We both work hard. We love people. We're extroverted. We're both very passionate about food. There is no question we both get very excited about cheese and a variety of other things
And wine and
and wine
whiskey.
and well, and so my partner is French, and as you know, I'm half Italian, so those are two cultures right there that get pretty excited about food. So, but yeah, we do both have a zest for life. I mean, I think I get that from my dad. Italians are very, very zesty and passionate about life, and my dad was very much so. And I think I've always been that way. But I think as we get older and life kicks us around a little bit, we get more and more clear about what matters and what doesn't. And for me, enjoying life is my number one goal. That's more important than anything else. I mean, I'm clear on the various things and responsibilities I need to focus on, but enjoying life is number one, no question.
That's awesome. No, I love seeing you guys together and you're funny and fun to be around too. And you had an excellent trip to Italy, and I love that you came to share parts of it with us at a Rotary luncheon. It was great to kind of hear that. Italy is just huge. Troy and I've been watching. We love Stanley Tucci, and he's got a show called In Search of Italy or something. So he's going to the
Yeah.
different areas. I don't know if you've seen it, but we just love
Oh, are
watching.
you kidding me? George and I've watched every single episode like twice. I love Stanley Tucci too. I've loved Stanley Tucci since I was a teenager. He's been in some really interesting roles over the years. He's
Mhm.
always considered himself kind of a B-roll actor, but he's done some fantastic things.
Fantastic. Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
when it's teamed up with Meryl Streep, like the two
A
big
hundred
movies they
percent.
did together. It's just like, oh my God, I love them both. So,
Yeah. I love Meryl Streep too. She is fantastic. Yeah.
right. Yeah. And seems like a really good person. So,
Hmm.
so you kind of told us about all the awesome things you've done at Rotary. So thank you for doing all that stuff. You're always the first one to say, yes, I'll be there. And I know you love the fellowship. What are you
Hmm.
most proud of about our club?
Oh, so many things. I am proud that we're the original club. We're the largest club. We have the largest membership. But like I was saying to you before we started chatting, on camera, that one thing I really love is the fact that our club is so warm and welcoming, and I have not experienced any sort of clickiness or negative behavior from anyone. Like it's a very positive club, and I feel like everybody makes you feel like you're part of the club, part of the family, and that's it's not easy to find that.
Hmm. What does Rotary mean to you?
Rotary to me really is about community uh, and fellowship. And when I say community, I mean reaching out to the community, being involved in the community, volunteering, donating, whatever we can, if it's time or money or material goods. But just being involved in the community, trying to make a difference, and doing it with people that you care about, that you are friends with, you feel like you're family with, and so you're experiencing community and fellowship all at once, all the time.
You went to PETS recently, which is what the president's education training or something.
Yeah, president-elect training session. I did. I went to that at the end of February. Yeah, in Seattle for 4 days.
How was that?
It was interesting. There were about 600 Rotarians there.
Stop, really?
Yeah, so PETS is the president-elect training for the Pacific Northwest. Apparently, it's the largest president-elect training in the world for Rotary. So yeah, there were 600 Rotarians there. It was fantastic what they pulled off. You know, they hold it in this huge hotel near the airport in Seattle, and it was great. You know, it was well organized, lots of really interesting breakout sessions. The meals were nice. I love Seattle. It's not too different from Vancouver. I like that climate actually, believe it or not. I do like that kind of rainy climate. So yeah, it was great.
Awesome. So you're all ready for president being Miss President's July 1st, eh?
Hopefully, we'll see. I did want to step into the role of president, but I thought I was going to do it maybe like 3, 4 years down the road. And then we kind of had a juggle in our
Awful.
succession plan, a shuffle. Yeah. So it got pushed up for me. So, I mean, I'm happy to step up and do it, but you know, I am a little bit nervous. I'm going to, of course, do my very best, but of course, I'm a bit nervous. Hopefully, I just don't want to like, you know, disappoint anyone or let anybody down or want to try to fill the role as best as I can. Hopefully, I don't screw anything up.
Oh,
That's kind of what's going through my head.
you'll do great, and you know we all have your back. And I loved how you said that Bill reached out and said, "Come on, let's do lunch," and he kind of went over some stuff with you and will
Hmm.
mentor you in this. So I think that's fantastic. But we all got you. You're gonna be
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
the mentorship is good because I mean, Rotary is complex.
it
There's a
is.
lot of moving parts, and it takes a while to learn all of the moving parts. So the mentorship is good because you can't possibly be on top of everything all the time. So.
And I love Dick for information too, because he's just so knowledgeable, but he's very quiet, right? He's not like
Mm-hmm.
he'll speak up when we're really off tangent. He goes, "Well, actually, this is what we need to do." But he's such a great resource for like what how do you do this? How you do this? And right, he's just so calm. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know we got some
He's
amazing people. I love him.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I really like Dick too. I think we're really lucky to have him as treasurer, and he is also a good mentor and very knowledgeable. And yes, he's quiet until you get him in a board meeting, which you know.
I know. He's so fun. I love him to death. I love our club. You're going to be an awesome president. So don't even think twice about that. If you have any worries, we're just right there. We'll just surround you and we got you. So it's all good. And you just got such a effervescent personality. You're going to be a great leader for us. So all good. Please don't worry.
Hopefully, positive. We'll be positive.
You got this. So what would people be surprised to know about you that you haven't shared already? Because you surprise me all the time and you're like, I did this. I'm like, really? Oh my God. So
Yeah, it's funny because I mean I know I look young for my age, but I mean I'm about to turn 50. 50 years is a long time. I've done a lot in 50 years, you know?
you
Like
have
a
done
lot.
lots.
There's probably all kinds of things people would be surprised to know about me. There isn't just one. It's probably 10 or 20. Um, okay, let's see. I'll share a couple things people probably don't know. Something I don't share very often with people is I actually have a tested IQ of 140. I have an extremely high IQ. I always did exceptionally well in school. And that's something, like I said, I don't share it a lot, but I'm proud of it.
Awesome.
And yeah,
Doesn't surprise me at all.
um, something else a lot of people don't know about me, but I think is important. One of the biggest reasons why I have such a huge passion for life is because my father committed suicide when I was 19, and that will really shake you up and teach you very quickly what matters and doesn't matter in life. So it's been clear to me for a long time
Yeah.
what matters and doesn't matter. And I don't stay focused on petty things. I don't waste time on stuff that doesn't matter. I'm very clear what matters when you know you lose a parent at such a young age to something as horrible as suicide. It's yeah, puts things in perspective.
I'm sorry you went through that. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a long time ago now, right?
But it's hard. Hard for anybody to lose somebody they love to suicide. That's a tough one.
It's surprising how many people do, though.
Oh,
I
I
know a
know.
lot of people who've lost close family members to suicide, so it's still it's a real huge problem. It's something I think we're, you know, society as a whole, we're making strides with over time, but it's long road. It's a long road.
It is a very long road for sure.
Yeah.
So what else would you like to share about yourself or our Rotary Club that we haven't talked about today?
I don't know. I think we kind of hit the highlights. We talked about my history, career, kids. We talked a lot about Rotary, which I think is fantastic. I think our Rotary Club has got some really great things going on. And after going to Pets, I saw there are a lot of really small Rotary clubs, and some of them are small but mighty. Don't get me wrong, they're doing amazing things. But there's also, I saw a lot of Rotary clubs that are kind of maybe a little bit disorganized or not, don't totally know what they're doing. I left Pets feeling even more grateful than I already did for the fact that we have a really long, well-established club that is very well organized. The club, I mean, it's an entity on its own, right? Even though there's always kind of an influx of new people, some people leave, some people pass away, unfortunately. But the club itself is an entity unto itself, and it functions very well. It's not, I mean, not that it couldn't be better. Everything could always be better, but it's a pretty damn good Rotary Club, in my opinion. It's got its shit together.
Yes.
Excuse my Italian.
We got to start talking one of these days about in 3 years, it's going to be our 100th anniversary.
Well, it's funny you say that because actually that is on my list. One of my goals for my presidency year
Awesome.
is I'm going to start to work on a 3-year plan for our 100th anniversary.
Perfect.
And then each president after me, which will be Robin and then Dave,
Dave, yeah.
can pick up that 3-year plan
There's your
and run with
committee.
it
There's your
because
committee right there.
exactly, that's the committee. Because it's going to be a lot of work. It's not
It's going
something
to be
we
a
could
lot of
probably
work.
even, yeah. So I'm going to get the ball rolling,
Yeah.
and then we've got 3 years to figure out exactly what we're going to do because our 100th is like that's huge. We
Huge.
gotta, yeah.
Huge. I know, right? That's awesome. And then you've got, I'm volunteering. I'm very excited for your events coming up here. So do you want to tell
Are
people
you going to
about that?
volunteer at the festival?
Yeah. I did two volunteer slots.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you so
excited.
much.
Of course.
That's
Tell us
amazing.
about your big events coming up.
Well, the Central Okanagan Performing Arts Festival is something I'm very passionate about. It's all about performing arts and kids, and I love both those things. This is actually a role I really like. I mean, it's got its pros and cons, like anything. Right now, it's festival season. Okay, it's like in the performing arts world, spring is festival season, and anybody who's involved in performing arts kind of loses their mind a little bit in festival season because it's very demanding. It's a lot of hours. Like the amount of I've spent what feels like hundreds of hours
I'm
just on
sure.
the scheduling. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but I'm in scheduling hell right now because you're scheduling hundreds and hundreds of pieces that are like 1 minute and 45 seconds and 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And you're doing this and it needs to be done exactly right. And you have to make every parent and every child and every participant happy, which is impossible. That's the harder part of the job. Otherwise, it's pretty good. But what I will tell you is that the festival is free to attend. So anybody who would like to come out and see these amazing young performing artists in dance, music, and voice is absolutely welcome. So our dance category this year is from March 31st to April 3rd at the Mary Irwin Theater in the Rotary Center for the Arts. And then our music and voice categories. So we have piano, strings, and then a variety like I said, voice categories, classical, musical theater, etc. Are later in April. And all of the information is on our website. But anybody who's welcome to come is welcome to come to the festival. And these young people blow me away every year. When you see someone who's 12 years old singing like they're in an opera, it's wow, it's just fantastic. And some of these musicians and the dancers too will blow you away. So yeah, it's exciting.
I didn't go to the different events, but I did do the wrap up event or the kind of
The gala.
celebratory event. Oh my goodness, Tosca. It was awesome. It was just the whole thing was so beautifully put together and all the different participants. It was amazing. You did such a good job putting that together. You and your board are just fantastic.
Thank you. And hopefully the gala is going to be even better this year as we continue to iron out wrinkles, etc.
That's awesome. So, well, again, thank you very much for taking the time today. I really appreciate you taking sharing all the things you do, and I appreciate all that you do for Rotary and all the different great goods you do out there. Good. What is it? Good works. Good works. That's what I'm thinking. All the good works you do out there. It's like so appreciated, and I hope you know every day that you make a difference.
Well, thank you. And thank you to you too, Shauna. Like I've said to you before, you're doing a fantastic job with all of the social media. And I hope you'll stay in that role during my presidency year
Of
because,
course, of
well,
course.
it makes a huge difference. Like you sharing all of the amazing things that our club does and our accomplishments, our donations, sharing information about our members, like it's crucially important. You know, you're getting the word out, you're creating education and awareness around Rotary, which
I
is very
love it. It's
important.
I've definitely found my niche with our club because there are people that are just
Amazing.
raising huge amounts of money and organize, and I'm like, okay, I found my thing. I love this, and I feel like I can kind of touch in all the different areas and support
That's
everybody.
fantastic.
I love, yeah,
And that's what we want for every single member is to find something that they are really passionate about within the
yeah.
club and run with it. So that's amazing. So thank you, Shauna.
Well, thank you. You have a fantastic day.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.